walking backwards to Christmas across the Irish Sea. Hello again. So today I'm going to launch into a very complex topic: refugees from Ukraine. I'm not a politician. Most of my life I've studiously ignored politicians and their rantings because they invariably seem to contradict each other, and whenever you ask them a direct question they avoid answering it. And so what's the point of listening to them? I've voted, but I've always voted in the middle of the road because it seems to me that neither one side nor the other can be totally right, and anyway we never get what we want. But anyway, in recent years so many startling things have been happening around the world and fed to us through our TV screens that I can't help but notice that politics is actually sort of interesting. So over the last 2 years we've been bombarded with constant fear-mongering, really, about viruses and pandemic, and you've got to look after yourself, you've got to wash your hands and wash your hands and wash your hands. Masks don't do any good. No, you must wear a mask. Oh, well, no, any old face covering will do. You mustn't get together with more than one person from 3 households or whatever. You mustn't have any parties. We'll put you in prison if you even associate with somebody else who's 2 feet away in a public space. Don't go to the supermarkets. Get them to deliver the food. Get somebody else to deliver the food. When somebody delivers the food, stand back from the door like there's a plague going on. Oh yeah, wait, there is a plague going on. Now suddenly there isn't a plague going on. Has anybody noticed how nobody's talking about the plague anymore? And yet infections are going up again and people are still getting ill, but life has to carry on now because we can't keep subsidising everybody and making them stay at home forever. But we'll give them something new to be worried about. Suddenly, after 2 years of being fed with all this doom and gloom about the danger of the virus and how we've got to do what the government says or we'll all be dead in a horrible manner, suddenly we're being fed this new narrative about Russia and Ukraine. Instead of having constant news about what the infection rates are, we're now being treated to images of destruction and bodies under blankets and people fleeing their country. You can't help suspecting that our emotions could be being manipulated by higher powers who decide what their agenda is and then decide how they're going to persuade the population to go along with it. I mean, why else would we suddenly get this huge turnaround from our government, which has been insisting all throughout Brexit, well, we can't let all the refugees, we can't let immigrants come in all the time. It's ruining the country, and we've got to have a system, and we've got to have regulations, and we can only let in the people that are going to benefit our country, and it's all got to stop. Suddenly they're completely flip-flopping on their narrative and saying, oh yeah, we'll let in every refugee that needs to come. Only from Ukraine, not from Syria. When the Syrian refugee crisis was at its height, we weren't treated to this kind of public political exhibition of welcoming and you can all take in a refugee and look after them. And the Syrians were brought into the country, so I understand, but more or less secretly, certainly quietly. It wasn't made a big deal of. Now there are Syrians living in our land and amongst us, but they're keeping a low profile. But now with the Ukrainians, the government's saying, oh, we will actually allow as many as want to come into the country. You have to suspect, don't you, that maybe they're realising that their policy of keeping out all the immigrants is actually what's ruining our economy. Apparently we can't slaughter our own pigs and turkeys. We have to have people come from other countries and do it for us because they're the only qualified ones or something. Anyway, oh yeah, and the lorry drivers. We've got not enough people to drive our lorries because it turns out that the mainstay of our lorry driving population came from Europe in the first place. Do you think the government is now thinking maybe we should allow more immigrants into the country because actually we haven't got enough people to do all these jobs? And maybe we could look magnanimous and say, yeah, okay, sure, we'll allow as many Ukrainians as possible into the country. So hubby and me, we're sitting there and he says, I think we could offer a space to refugees. And I say, yeah, because I've also been thinking that we are a almost retired couple, still trying to sell a few books when we can, in a 4-bedroom house, children flown the nest, nobody here but us and the dog. It seems only reasonable that we would open up our home to refugees. So how do you set about doing this? We started asking around. There's 1 or 2 local agencies that do things for refugees, but they don't know what's going on. The government has started a website where you can register your interest in taking refugees. So you register and then you wait and nothing happens. And then you realise that actually it's up to you. You have to first locate your own family, then get the government to do the paperwork, and then, I don't know, somehow it's all going to work out. They're going to announce it today, Friday, the 18th of March, is it today, 2022? We're waiting to hear what they've organised. And if they have organised something, well done them, because they've had a lot of organising to do lately and they haven't always shown a huge skill at it, I have to say. How do you set about finding your refugee family? I started looking on Facebook. There's a page that allows people to post whether they want to host or whether they want a family. So I posted a photo, a rather unflattering photo of me and hubby. Selfies never work, do they? You're so busy trying to get the thing in the right place and then get your thumb on the button without changing to some other app altogether. And then you're looking in the wrong place and you look really, really stupid. I don't know. I always look stupid anyway, so it didn't bother me. But the upshot is that the Facebook page didn't yield anything, and it seems mostly to work best when the potential immigrant, the refugee people, post their own post, and then they get flocks and flocks of eager Brits responding in the comments, offering them wonderful places in their super large luxurious homes. So then I went on a couple of other websites that people on the Facebook group had referred to and registered my details there, a few things about our home and who we are, etc. And then suddenly I started getting responses, and I'm thinking, oh my God, there's actual people out there. Who are these people? You know, how do I know who they are? And I've been ranting and raving to hubby about how the government puts obstacles in the way and how they can't just be like Poland and open their arms and welcome in everybody who's in need. They have to make biometric checks and blah, 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 and everybody has to be DBD, what do they call it nowadays? I think it's DBD checked to make sure they're not ravaging serial killers or something, as if a check like that would prove anything like that. And now I'm thinking, actually the government has a point. You've got to have records, you've got to have systems. So after a bit of faffing around, working out how things worked and then how to stop them because I was getting too many responses, I did offer sponsorship to a young couple who are from a town on the south coast of Ukraine, somewhere where a lot of fighting is going on because the Russians are trying to secure the seaports. And I think they'll fit into our house, although they will have to have this room. This is our spare front bedroom where I'm doing my videoing. Got my bookshelf, my washing line area thing. And on the floor down there is a mattress where I sometimes come and watch things on YouTube when I can't sleep and I don't want to disturb hubby. Anyway, so I'm going to have to clear everything out of this room, clean it, tidy it, get a proper bed probably, and then we're all set, and we have to wait and see what the government comes up with and whether it works out. There are all sorts of questions about protocol really, like how do you behave towards them? What do you offer them? What do you do with them? How do you manage sharing the kitchen and the bathroom? How do you sort out the food? You know, you can fantasize about, oh, it would be nice to welcome these people with a traditional Ukrainian dish. I'll go and research that and cook it up for them. But there's life after that as well, and it all needs to be planned and managed. And how long are they going to stay? Where will they move on to? Are they hoping to go back to Ukraine, or are they hoping to actually settle in the UK and kill turkeys or drive lorries or do home caring, whatever it is the government has the most need of at the moment? Poor people. So yeah, it's all a bit of an unknown, and I will keep you informed when I know what's going on. Anyway, have a nice day. Bye.